So I went to Texas in the US. And they were serving gator, which is alligator meat, and rattlesnake.
Oh my god, people eat that?
So we have a farmhouse. So I love gardening. So we try not to apply any pesticides or any chemicals, whatever we are. And nowadays, a lot of people don't use earthen pots. People prefer plastic because we belong to that mindset of minimalism.
Welcome to the new episode of JCL Podcast. Today we have with us Madhumita. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's kick things off by getting to know a bit more about you. What do you do here at JioMart? What's your role?
So here I am leading the UX, the user experience team, and the head of design. I also have a dual role. I'm also a product leader, and I take care of the customer support and the seller support.
Oh, okay. So you are a product designer as well as product manager.
But yeah, more at a leadership level.
Wow, okay. Apart, so do you even get time to, have any other hobbies or something you're passionate about?
Yes, I love traveling. I love cooking.
Wow. So you love traveling and food.
I do.
And I'm sure some of us here also. I myself love traveling and, exploring foods. I love exploring food instead of cooking. So are you a cooking person or do you want to go to different places, different restaurants?
So I'm both. So whenever I go to a place, I would try to taste their authentic food and then learn. So I would usually go to the chef and ask how do they make it. And it could be a street vendor also or a full 5-star chef also. But I'd like to learn how to make that dish. I even go to as part of my itinerary, we have a market visit. So I would actually go to the market, buy the spices, and then bring it home and try to recreate. And then after every travel, my friends kind of look up to that. When are you going to give us your regional, whatever you've learned, and are you going to have a party of all those food?
So since you recreate dishes and all, have you ever recreated one dish that you really loved on your travel, and how has it?
Oh, every time. So, I went to a country called Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan, I've heard of.
Yeah, so it's a meat-based, primarily they eat meat, and they have very significant Russian influence. But for a very long time, they were not very rich people. So you can imagine Uzbekistan is almost like India in its 90s, very, early stage of development.
Right.
So they have a traditional food called plov. It's like our pulao, but they call it plov. So Uzbekistan plov is very famous. So one of my guide explained to me how to make that food. And then we went to Shuk Bazaar, which is a very famous place. And I bought the oil and the masalas and everything. And they were like, are you actually going to make it? Then I said, yeah, I'll make it. I'll take a picture and I'll send you.
Did you?
I did.
It turned out really...
Yeah. Yes, it did. But obviously, the kind of rice they use is different than what we use.
That's what I had.
I used basmati rice, but they also use basmati, but their basmati is different than ours. I did bring their oil.
Uh-huh.
It's a mix of sesame oil and couple of other oils. So that kind of gave it some unique flavor. Masalas and all were fine. But they usually make it with, their meat is much harder than what we have. We are used to having more gravy and, softer meat and all. So I had to tweak it a little bit to our palate. But yeah, it was fine. It was good.
Okay. So one question I have. Out of all the places you have traveled, do you remember any specific place that had the most unforgettable food scene?
So Greek food is very unique in the sense that they don't put lot of seasoning. So it's not very spicy, very salty, very sweet. They tend to aggravate the natural flavors. So let's say they will have salads. So they want you to understand the taste of the leaves that you are eating.
Yeah.
Or if they're using feta cheese, they don't want you to put a lot of stuffs on. Like we have this habit, right? Oregano,
chili flakes,
and
something
all
like
that.
this.
Nothing. So they expect you to have it with a little bit of lemon juice and olive oil, and that's it, right? Very subtle flavors, but it says, right, when you strip away all the frills, you have the core of the food. So I was totally mesmerized by both the vegetarian and non-vegetarian dishes. Very unique in terms of usage of vegetables and all. Like bengan, plant.
Did you recreate it?
Yeah, so moussaka is one of their very famous dish. It's basically, I don't know if people like Italian food, so it is lasagna, but instead of pasta, they make it with eggplant. So very tasty if you do it well. I tried to recreate. There also, I got the olive oil from there and the seasoning is so there. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. And is there any dish or any place you visited that is the most, unusual dish that you have tried?
I could not eat it even though I had ordered. So I went to Texas in the US and they were serving gator, which is alligator meat, and rattlesnake meat. So we were.
Oh my god, people eat that?
Yeah. And and they also serve cactus fried. So we have fritters.
Like the cactus.
Cactus.
Plant,
yes. Because it's a desert, right? So they have cactus fried. So instead of potato chips or French fries, you have cactus fries. And then you have these meat. So I tried the cactus food. But
how was it?
Cactus was not bad. It was actually quite
good. Do you have thorns?
No, they plucked out all of that. So it didn't have the thorns. But it was surprisingly very juicy. It had crunch outside and juicy inside. I could not put myself to eat this.
I'm shocked to see people eat that.
But my friends and my colleagues, they said you must try. There was once I went to Japan and I was offered whale meat. That also I could not eat. I was like, oh, poor whale. And they said, it's already dead. We have already cooked it. You might as well eat. But yeah, so some scary stuff. In Thailand, we saw, a lot of
octopus, live octopus. They also give live octopus.
No, not that way, but a lot of insects which are deep fried. Yeah, even those we couldn't.
Even I've been to Thailand and I've seen people eat cockroaches, fried cockroaches, and I'm just
grasshoppers.
And I'm just like, I
can't do that. So some of those I've not been able to manage. But yeah, I've had very unique type of fruits and vegetables across the world. So those Singapore especially, they try a lot of tubers, like things which grow under the soil. They have a lot of dishes from different types of tubers. In Bhutan, I had bamboo shoots. So that was nice.
Is there any particular dish from your travel destination that you would want everyone to at least try it or
try Italian food? I'm sure everybody does, pasta and all, but here it is lot, like I think we've killed Italian food with Indian flavors. Fusion food is good, but the authentic Italian food is to die for. I love Lebanese food. I've not been to Lebanon yet with all this fights and everything, war and everything, but I think Lebanese food is also I think everybody should try, especially vegetarian.
So since you travel a lot, and if anyone comes to India, they'll find authentic North Indian, authentic South Indian, whatever. How do you discover which place has the authentic taste?
So the trick, I would say, is to go to small shops, small or street vendors, because in a 5-star restaurants, the chef will try to experiment to make the food palatable for international audience, right? For a street vendor or a small shops, they would give you more authentic. At least they will try to use more authentic spices, more authentic food. I'll tell you, we were in Paris and we went to this. Like on one hand, you can go to a chateau and big French restaurants, but if you go to a local bakery, the croissants and the baguettes, they will be very different because it is made for that day. They won't keep it for long. They may bake it in the morning, by afternoon it's sold out. Again, evening they will make, and again by, let's say, late evening it's all sold out. So there, I think, you can actually get small outlets. Yeah, mom and pop shops.
So, I mean, how do you decide your travel destination? I really want to ask, do you decide it based on the food, culture, or...
Depends, right? Like, a lot of things, how much time we have. And I want to visit as many countries, as many places as possible. My family is divided. I am a mountain person. My family is, my daughter and my husband are more sea and water people. So we kind of balance it out. But one thing which is common for all of us is we are very focused to learn about the culture. So wherever we can go, we try to visit the museums or try to go to the local markets. Yeah, just to get a glimpse of their world.
Wow. Okay, so have you ever planned a trip that didn't go as you wanted? How did you turn it around? Because it has happened with me. Like, I always thought that, okay, I make an itinerary, I have to do all this. But something or the other always mess it up, and then I have to, be like, okay, I have to think around and I have to make sure that the trip is fine.
We had this weird situations. We were traveling to multiple countries, and with my small kid, we were supposed to go to Budapest and Prague and Vienna.
Oh, I love all these.
So, but what happened is when we reached Budapest, we realized our luggage had not come. And that was the first time. I mean, later on we figured out. But one thing which I usually do is when we pack bags, we don't pack bags by people. So one bag will have some amount of clothes for myself, my daughter and my husband, and like that. So thankfully we did that. So even though one luggage came and then the other did not come, we had some piece of cloth for all of us. And it was fold. So we needed some clothes and all. So that is one trick I think worked for us. If many more times you've lost luggage or came late, but have some piece of clothes with your hand carry and split so that not all the clothes of one person is in one bag.
Okay. Oh, I have to ask you this because it has happened with me. I always get confused because at one point I want to explore new places, but at the same time I also want to go to my favorite places that I've been to. So how do you balance it?
I usually don't go back to the same place except for Mysore. Mysore I love. I can go to Mysore anytime. Like, anybody can ask me. But I usually don't go back to the same place. Even if I go back to the same country, I will probably go to other places of the country because we don't do justice to a country by staying there for 5 days. You don't see the whole country. So if at all, like for example, we went to US multiple times, but we tried to visit other states.
Wow. Also, I've heard about that you have an Insta page about your cooking.
Yeah, I do. I love to cook and then plate it and then take pictures. It's called Soul's Kitchen, SOULS_kitchen.
Soul's Kitchen. Okay, we're gonna find recipes from all the different countries, places you've been to.
Yeah, check it out and let me know.
What sparked that love, to create the page or about the food?
I always thought that I'm not very good at keeping memories. Like I don't take too many pictures, my family takes care of that. But then at some weird point, I thought maybe when I'm very old and I don't remember what I was doing, I need to have a place that I can go back and see what I was doing when I was capable. And that's where the page came up. And Soul is, my daughter's name is Hia.
Hina.
Hia.
Hia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Hia means soul in Bengali.
Oh, so wow, that's really nice. Okay. And I've also heard that you do sustainable development also.
So we have a farmhouse. We have bought a farmhouse during the COVID. So I love gardening. So I used to do it in my balcony, but during COVID and lockdown, we always thought that maybe we should have a little more space, and that's when we started looking up, and finally we got a farmhouse. So we try not to apply any pesticides or any chemicals, whatever we are, growing. We try to compost. We try to get even the pots and everything that we buy from a local potter.
Okay.
So we try to give that person, and then I talk about it to my friends, and they buy because he's in a small village. Not possible for him to reach out to the urban places, right? So he relies a lot on the middlemen who come and purchase in bulk and then sells it outside. And nowadays, a lot of people don't use earthen pots. People prefer plastic because it's unbreakable. But I think plants grow better in the clay pots. So yeah, I'm trying to encourage more and more people to.
You grow all kind of vegetables, everything.
Yeah. You try. It's not easy to grow. Only when you start growing, you realize how hard our farmers work.
What got you into sustainable farming?
We belong to that mindset of minimalism. So we do want to recycle and upcycle and build what we can consume. So yeah, that has been there, and that's something which I'm passionate. My husband is passionate. Thankfully, my daughter is also very passionate.
Thank you so much, Madhumita, for giving us such amazing insights. Before we wrap up, is there any trip for food lovers, travel lovers you can?
I would say when you go to a place, I know most people try to stick to their comfort food. You'll be surprised how many comfort food exists for each culture. So even if you don't want to explore new food, just ask around what is your comfort food and try it. Maybe your range of comfort food will increase. It's good to try new food.
Thank you so much. That's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode of JC Podcast.